One way to succeed is you need a problem to solve which many people have not solved yet. I like the idea of fail fast so that you can move on to the next one if there is not enough traction that you are building. So again, I think there is no right or wrong time to start. If you think that you can do and you can solve this problem, always discuss this with people because ideas are not unique. Ideas are hardly unique. Everybody has an idea, right? But how do you put it in place? How do you execute? How do you build a team? How do you approach the customer? So the entrepreneurship is about the success of your business, the success of the business model, and it includes multiple facets. Surround yourself with people who push you to do well, who push you to do good, who push you to have fun, and from people who you can learn from. If you don't enjoy working with the people around you on a day-to-day basis, then it's a recipe for disasters.
Here I am, bringing you insightful conversations about modern day career opportunities, perspectives, and powerful stories. Welcome to Career Explore. I am your host, Jayakishor Bayadi.
Hey, JK.
Hey, hi, Girish. So today I'm very much excited to have Girish Ramachandra, who has been entrepreneur for most part of his career and carries a wealth of experience in various areas such as outsourcing, management, consulting, delivery, strategic advisory, fintech, leadership, and more within information technology domain. With over 25 years of experience as an entrepreneur and advisor, Girish has collaborated with numerous technology companies to elevate them to new heights. In this episode, we will be talking about entrepreneurship. Because in a way, entrepreneurship is one of the most challenging career path out there. So we will hear from Girish about his entrepreneurial journey and learnings from his journey. So thanks so much, Girish, for taking the time to be part of this podcast and share your experiences. So, Girish, before we actually begin and the start talking about entrepreneurship and your journey, all those things. I mean, would you like to give some some background about yourself, your current role, and what is that one thing or two things which you so far loved about your job?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, GK. Thank you for having me on your podcast and glad to be here. I currently work as the head of partnerships at Lumber. I have known Shrisha Ramdas, the founder and CEO of Lumber, for about 20 years now. And recently, when I was looking out for opportunities, and we started talking, and we decided it may be the right time to switch. So Lumber is in construction workforce management, very innovative, cloud-based AI first, AI-driven workforce management solution. And previously, I was with an accounting and consulting firm called Wifley, but my association with entrepreneurs have been very long. Even in Wifley, I was head of technology industry, which is bringing Wifley services to entrepreneurs who want to start, entrepreneurs who want to build their company, entrepreneurs who want stabilities to their company and scale up. So even though I was working at Wifley, my association with entrepreneurs continued there. Prior to joining Wifley, I was an entrepreneur myself with a few other partners, and I have started and succeeded in some, not succeeded in some. So I have my fair share of failures. I was recently watching Federer giving a speech at a university, and he said even the best champions don't win all the points. And he was sharing his own success rate of points. The individual success rate for
Mhm.
Federer, all-time tennis champion, is only 54%.
Oh.
So
Mhm.
even for the best of entrepreneurs, there are success and failures. And I had my share of failure,
Mhm.
and I had my share of success as well.
Okay.
So as an entrepreneur, I spent a lot of time in California, running and building my company, building relationships, and that's when I met my current CEO. So what
Okay.
I really like about my current job is people. It's always been people, and
Mhm.
the ideas are important. The field that you are working is very important. The problem that you're solving is super important. But more than anything else, if you don't love the people that you work with on an everyday basis, then you are not having fun. Lumber has a fantastic team. We always have fun. The energy people bring in is fantastic. That keeps you going for 12, 14 hours a day.
Mhm.
And also there is humility, I should say. It's not always about the fun energy, the problem solving attitude, but the humility that, hey, I could be wrong. Tell me about it. And be open to experiments. So our the CEO Shrisha always say, let's experiment and see. He knows he may not be right all the time, and
Mhm.
the leaders of lumber know that they may not be right all the time,
Mhm.
but everyone is always open to experiment and see, hey, this could be the right thing, or this may not work out. And so creating that environment,
Mhm.
and me personally, having that environment to experiment and succeed or fail is very important in any job that I take up. And
Mhm.
I'm so glad that we have that in lumber. And that's very important quality to for anybody to succeed as an entrepreneur as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, you said one right point there, the people, right? You love the point. I mean, the you love the most about your job is people. And I mean, if I can add one more point to it, as problems, people with problems, then it will become a business, right? So I just wanted to bring that thought. So yeah, I mean, basically entrepreneurship is all about solving someone's problems. Business, it may be a business problem, it could be a the relationship problems as well. I mean, there are a lot of apps which
Mhm.
actually tries
Yeah.
to solve your relationship problems as well nowadays. So yeah, so basically, now, because the thoughts have started triggering now. So basically, uh, so how did you begin your journey? I mean, if you go back in your 25 years of journey, right? I mean,
Mhm.
how it happened to you? How it all become? How did you become one? Or got into an entrepreneurship, basically.
Yeah. So look, as they say, you can only connect the dots looking back, right?
Mhm, mhm,
So I can connect the dots looking back. How I became an entrepreneur is also there was a problem to solve, and some of us working in that company took the opportunity.
mhm,
So I was working with SAP Germany through then it was Satyam Computers, and
mhm,
there was a specific problem that we were seeing. We were in SAP retail,
mhm,
and there was a problem to be resolved where the inventory in warehouse connecting to inventory at the point of sale system, the records of point of sale system.
mhm,
So there was this concept of negative inventory, where somebody in the retail store, took something, maybe a can of beer, a crate, a dozen of beer, and then when it came to point of sale system, they swiped it and said, oh, this doesn't show up. It shows that there is no inventory here. But
mhm,
actually, the person is actually holding, a dozen of beer in his hand or her hand, right? So,
mhm,
so that. it was a problem of the inventory not getting constantly or not updating at the
Updating.
point of sale on a real time.
Mm-hmm.
So we proposed that, hey, we can solve this problem, and
Mm-hmm.
we will build a product, give us 6 months, and we will come back to you and show it to you. So our thought process was, if
Mm-hmm.
we can solve the problem for one product, we can go and sell it to multiple other products and customers as well. So, I was in Germany at the time. I reached out to a few of my then co-founders, then said, hey, there is this problem to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
We worked on that product for about 6 months. The sad part is the SAP did not end up buying that. So, in essence, that my first attempt was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up selling the company. We ended up merging our team
Mm-hmm.
of talented people with the larger company, and
Okay.
but those 6 months were a big crash course in entrepreneurship for me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, it was a lot of fun. we
Mm-hmm.
you know we Before actually agreed to merge with the bigger company, we explored a couple of other ideas as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And one idea was very close to something. At the time, it was very famous, called opinions.com. So
Mm-hmm.
electronic opinions. So
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to collect opinions about consumer goods and sell it to the consumer goods so that they can use the reviews and the feedback from the customers on their website. So that idea actually won the McKinsey India Venture 2000 business plan competition. So this
Oh,
was,
great. Mm-hmm.
yeah, 24 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we unfortunately, the stock market collapsed in the middle of 2000, and one of the VCs had a term sheet for us. They ended up withdrawing the term sheet, and we finally had to merge our company with the bigger one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did try all the angles and make sure that we can give it one last push before merging. And I think building that company, building a team of 26 talented people, then participating McKinsey India Venture 2000 competition, everything was a fantastic journey. I think in a way that set up the foundation for my next venture in 2000. We started in 2003.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really great to hear some of the efforts that went into your the first venture, and there are a lot of learnings. When someone wants to start a new venture, right? I mean, so basically, I have here the start is what stops most people, right? I mean, many people, including me, I have a starting trouble sometimes. But once you start, I mean, decided to start, right? What is the kind of the preparedness, right, is required to start a venture in terms of like identifying market trends, research. I mean, the real market needs. I mean, what is your take on that? And I mean, give us some insights on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is no right time to start, right? So it's always in the back of your mind. You're always exploring. Say that, hey, these are some of the problems that I would really like to go after.
Mhm.
There are multiple thought process on how to identify a problem, and some people say bigger the problem, the better. Bigger the market, the better. There has to be a really good market need. But there are no right or wrong answers on when to start, when to how big the market size should be. There are always multiple thought process.
Mhm.
So you can always select a problem and go after it.
Mhm.
But one thing I would say is, to be really successful. Again, I'm connecting the dots looking backwards, and I'm connecting the dots by looking at the number of entrepreneurs who have succeeded. One way to succeed is, you need a problem to solve which many people have not solved yet.
Mhm.
But also sometimes, that problem has not been solved because there is not enough incentive to solve that problem. So again, you need to be careful about, hey, what's the incentive to solve this problem? Because, you know, you sitting in your chair, you might think this is a really a big problem to resolve. But when you actually go to the market and understand, that may not be a problem at all. In our case, as I said, my first startup, we said, okay, this is a problem, and they thought that was a problem, but we took 6 months, and by the time we developed the product, they said, this may not be really the problem, right?
Mhm.
So I think there is I like the idea of fail fast, because build something, fail fast, validate and fail fast. So these ideas came, I think, a few years ago with lean startup and things like that. So I really like that idea.
Mhm.
If you, so that you can move on to the next one if there is not enough traction that you are building, because ultimately an entrepreneur succeeds by selling the solution that solves a problem. And
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, you need to be rewarded, you need to be your team needs to be rewarded. So if there are no people to buy your solution, as an entrepreneur, you are a failure. So you have to have buyers to become a successful entrepreneur. So, and the buyers come from a credible problem, a credible solution. And if you quickly know that there are no takers for your solution, then you can move on to the next one.
Mhm.
So again, I don't know if that answers your question, but there is no right time, or there is no right
Mhm.
process. But if you spot a problem and you want to solve it, go for it. But
Mhm.
try to understand really quickly if there are enough buyers to take that solution.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying that create a product which can, I mean, which can sell. Basically, you will never know whether it will sell or not, but uh, that's what I meant by even the market research as well. I mean, rather than
Mhm.
you building product based on your fancy ideas. I mean, every person will get an idea, right? So I have a fancy idea to create this particular app now. Whether it will sell or not, I mean, whether the market will resonate with my idea or not is what you need to think, right? I mean, so you're spot on there actually to understand, identify a problem first, and then bring that innovative idea to solve that problem. I think that's a very great idea. So uh, you know uh, yeah, I mean, as an entrepreneur, yes, I mean, you did a research, everything. Yes, that's right. So uh, fail fast, that is also one of the great concepts you need to understand and adapting to the market needs. Actually, I mean, if something is not working, you change it to the as per the needs of the the market, right? So that is one thing. So I mean, so from a mindset standpoint, right? I mean, if you are an employee, what is the kind of a the mindset entrepreneur should have, basically, uh, in terms of to handle that kind of the pressure or the uncertainty, basically, which comes naturally with the entrepreneurship.
Right. I think you hit the nail on the head. The word is uncertainty,
Hmm.
and you should be really good with handling uncertainty, because there is no specified path for entrepreneurs, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I think the most important mindset is to handle uncertainty, and is to say, okay, I'm okay with failure. Uh, it's I would say, I will not say you should love the failure, but you should be say, I'm okay with the failure, and I know how to pivot fast. And I think in your question, you alluded to some of the things that I was already thinking to answer.
Hmm.
That the mindset is, yeah, obviously you need to have a can-do attitude. You need to have a little bit of uh, humbug in you to say that, hey, I can do this, I can go solve this problem, and I want to be the one who solves this problem and sell this product, and make it really successful.
Hmm.
So you obviously need to have that attitude. But
Hmm.
also, I was talking to one of the leaders at Lumber recently and say, hey, are you
Hmm.
nervous? And he said, absolutely. I'm nervous every day,
Hmm.
because only the paranoid can survive. And So always, I can fail and I'm okay with that, but I know how to quickly pivot and do something else.
Mhm.
So one of the statistics in Silicon Valley says most of the successes came from pivoting. Most of the successes was not from the original idea. You know,
Mhm.
they they started with the solution, they realized okay that it needs to change, and they adapted to the customer needs, and they pivoted and became successful.
Mhm.
So failures are not really that, hey, I started with this and I failed, okay, I'm not good as an entrepreneur. But the key mindset is I'm okay with that, but I know how to pivot, how to change it, and present my solution in a different way, or a completely a different solution altogether. I
Mhm.
think I would say that is the key mindset. That is the key mindset to be successful. Pivot, position yourself differently, go on to the solution, adapt to the customer need.
Yeah. Yeah, that's spot on actually. Adopting to the customer need, basically creating some value. So in our business analysis world, we keep talking about value. So see, there is one requirement. You can deliver a requirement in many ways. You can deliver a requirement, but did it really solve the customer problem? Your requirement, whatever you have delivered, if it is a complex than what he was doing earlier, right? I mean, what is the use of your new solution or fancy solution? So yeah, I mean, that's great insight. So now let's switch to this the current generation, right? I mean, nowadays people are thinking about, everyone has an idea, and everyone wants to actually start a venture. Okay, so basically, what is your take on? See, I just passed out from a engineering college, or something like that. Let's assume, and I have an idea, and how do you suggest someone, or what is your opinion on, is it, should I start after gaining some work experience, till then I can actually develop my idea, or you can start right away? I mean, what is your take on that actually?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. A lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. Lot of people
Mhm.
nowadays, people talk about entrepreneurship as a career. So should we start, how, when do you start? Should you start to gain some experience or not?
Mhm.
Again, I would say there is no right or wrong answer. You will find so many examples
Mhm.
who dropped out of college and then started a company, whether it's in India or US or any country. They have become, gone on to become highly successful entrepreneurs. In fact, the richest people in the world who dropped out of colleges, right?
Mhm.
But you will also find a lot of people who have gained experience and have become, gone on to become really successful entrepreneurs. You will see examples, people who have started companies in their 50s, or and then who have become highly successful entrepreneurs. So again, I think there is no right or wrong time to start. If you think you can do, like how I said in my if you think that you can do, and
Mhm.
you can solve this problem,
Mhm.
and you know I think you should start exploring. When you feel that you can solve a problem, you should start exploring. And ideally, I would, this is only my personal opinion. Again,
Mhm.
there are different answers to this, right? Always discuss this with people, because ideas are not unique. Ideas are hardly unique. Everybody
Mhm.
has an idea, right? But how do you put it in place? How do you execute? How do you build a team? How do you approach the customer? So
Mhm.
the entrepreneurship is about the success of your business, the success of the business model, and it includes multiple facets, right?
Mhm.
So you start talking to people when you have an idea, you want to become whether you have experience or don't have experience, doesn't matter. Start talking to people and say, hey, I'm thinking about this, what do you think? And you will see ridicule, you will see encouragement, you will see Maybe, the multiple different type of answers, but the ultimate decision finally should lie in you as, the potential founder and the key person who is going to run with that ball. So experience does help. I wouldn't rule out, hey, don't have experience, drop out and start. That's not an advice that I can confidently give. Experience does help. And and some people who dropped out of college and started their companies are incredibly talented in their own way. But if you carefully look at their journey, they immediately also surrounded themselves with experienced people. So that's a key, that's a key trait that they all had. They said, okay, I have this idea. I got the lovable, minimum lovable product, but now I need to take it to the next level. So let me learn from the people who have experience. Let me surround myself with who can give me ideas, who can give me operational experience, who can give me the marketing experience, whole. So that's another way to look at it. So if you have a great idea, you have something going on, but you want to scale up to the next level, get good coaches around you, hire who are experienced people. So uh, I think that's the trait that you should be looking for more than whether you should have experience or not. Experience does help. There is no way trivializing the experience that you gain working with large companies. The large companies are large because for a reason, right? They did a lot of things right. So that's why they are large. They are successful. So by working with large companies, you gain significant amount of experience that you can implement in your own company.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a wonderful insight. So, in your journey, I mean, you touched upon this point in the beginning. I mean, the failure part, right? I mean, uh, see, I mean, once you start an your entrepreneurial journey, I mean, it need not be. It has to be a success, right? I mean, maybe for 2 years it will run, and after that, because of some reason, it had to stop, or something. Maybe the market rejected the product, or any reason it could be. So when such venture fails, right? I mean, how do you handle such setbacks? Basically, how do you overcome that? Failure. That is one thing. The second part of the question is, yeah, I'll come to that question later. But if you
Sure.
can, yeah.
Yeah, so failure is a big part of an entrepreneur's life. So I would like to view entrepreneurship as a long game. It's not a become quick rich kind of a scheme, right? Entrepreneurship is a long game. So when you have that long-term perspective of entrepreneurship for the next 10, 15, 20 years, so the short-term failures are easier to take. But that being said, I don't want to sugarcoat anything, right? Failures are definitely stepping stones for success, but each failure hurts. It hurts a lot. All right. And but always take it saying that, hey, failure is okay. I am not a failure, but by my business model failed. But in the long run, so these are the things that I learned, which I can, I can take it in my spirit. I'll swallow the bitter pill. It hurts for a few days, but now let me pivot and let me think what I can do next, right? So to handle failure is really tough. Many people are not able to handle failure that easily, so they do a lot of, so they avoid risk, so which is not an ideal thing for an entrepreneur. uh, so there are multiple ways to handle failures, but the key, I like it, the word I like is to take a long-term perspective and say, okay, these are my learning. I will become successful in the long run. So I'm not a super successful entrepreneur, I would consider, right? I'm not a billionaire, right? So I, but at the same time, I know that I could become one in the future if my idea is right, if my business models click. Not that that's my only ambition, right? But if you take a long-term view of entrepreneurship as a career, so it is always a long-term game. So if you consider it as a long-term game, then it's your mindset becomes or it becomes okay to accept failure. I'm not using the word easy. I
Mhm.
am saying that it's okay. It becomes okay to accept failure. It becomes okay to convince others. And then you say, especially your family and friends and colleagues, and there is a risk of your image being tarnished. There's a risk of everything. Your financial burdens. There's a risk of your career is at stake. But take the long term view and say, okay, these are the things I learned. How can I use it in my next one?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great thought, in fact. Girish, continuing our discussion. So,
Mhm.
okay, so we were talking about the handling failures. Okay, so see, once this failed, right? I mean, someone wants to, if he wants or she wants to join back to the corporate world, right? So how to handle how challenging it could be, with the set of experience one has and what the corporate world is looking for. Of course, if you have a contact in the corporate world, I mean, if your manager is known to you, I mean, earlier manager, or someone who is working, maybe your friend is working in your in some corporate company, it could be an easy for you to get a the reference, and then get a job maybe. And if and I mean, other than that, I mean, if you don't have kind of reference or any kind of a contact in the job, I mean, you have to go through only through skill set, based on your merit only, right?
Mhm.
How you can handle such it's a kind of a challenging situation only, right? So many times, you, whatever you have so far, let's say 5 6 years you have spent on your entrepreneurship or your own venture, now you want some job. So I have seen many people joining corporates after their venture failed, the thing.
Mhm.
But I have also heard, it's challenging as well. So do you have
Yeah.
any take on that?
Yeah, it is definitely challenging for sure, because as an entrepreneur, you are a jack of all. You're working on five different lanes every day.
Mhm.
You are doing product development, you're marketing, you're talking to customers. There is no one set of skill set that you develop that a big company will typically look for from a project leader, project manager, or a VP kind of role.
Mhm.
Because typically in a larger company, they have set processes, set teams. So they are looking for a defined set of skills that you bring to the table. So if you spend 2 3 years as an entrepreneur, you probably likely that you would have diluted those strong niche skill sets that you
Mhm.
might have had before starting your venture, and then it becomes rather difficult to find a job for specific skill sets. So my take on that is always build connections, always be networking. And if
Mhm.
you're a good entrepreneur, you will always be building networks. You will be either through social media, either through professional networks. You will continue to build networks, and look for those kind of jobs who will value your attitude,
Mhm.
uh, attitude, the can-do attitude and openness to learn, than looking for some specific skill sets. So those jobs are not a lot, and the big companies who value entrepreneurship as a skill set are not really a lot, but they do exist. There are uh, again, nobody is unique, right? Nobody is unique. It becomes unique over a period of time. So
Mhm.
there are people in larger companies who have had similar career path like you. So connect with those kind of people who understand, okay, this guy, or this person has been an entrepreneur before. I know this person can do, this person is if look, if you have had the audacity to start a venture and take all the risk, how hard is it to learn a job for you, right? It's definitely challenging, but my take on that is always connect with people who appreciate your entrepreneurship skill sets. That is the can-do attitude, go look for finding customers, or
Mhm.
openness to learn, openness to learning a new skill. There are definitely people out there, in my own experience, who appreciate that kind of skill set.
Mhm.
And it's not a lot, like how entrepreneurship is a hard skill to get by. So it's hard to find people who appreciate those skills. You got to find them. It's challenging, but you got to find them.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, Girish, so far, whatever you have said, right? I mean, the challenges and your learnings. So, it you might have taken the example of entrepreneurship. Okay, so I just wanted to reiterate to the viewers or listeners of
Mhm.
this podcast that the same challenges or the mindset or the problems when you face in your regular jobs as well, right?
Mhm.
I know especially the companies like people who are actually the go-getters who has that entrepreneurial mindset. So maybe because of some reason, some reasons, you may not be able to take a risk, and you may not be able to become an entrepreneurship. A thing is missing, maybe. I mean, but everyone cannot be entrepreneurs, right? But if you are working in a job, like I'm working in a job, right? So the similar attitude, a similar the learnings, if you can apply in your day-to-day regular job as well, right? It will help you to excel in your job as well. So that's what I just wanted to convey, because these are so many so beautiful insights which you have shared so far. Thanks for this. And it has, I mean, if people, people should not do job for the sake of the job. I mean, only. So you need to learn and grow. Obviously your growth will happen, obviously, when you really contribute to the organizational growth as well.
Mhm.
Automatically, your growth will happen, and you will get that the ultimate satisfaction. You might not have built your own company, but you have a satisfaction of the building something within some within something, or within some organization. Yeah, I mean, that's a great insights you have been sharing so far. So Girish, moving on. So the AI is the buzzword. Okay, so I mean, it's
Mhm.
right now. So what's your take on the advent of AI, and how this will shape the workforce, and the industry, and how AI will change the entire industry. I mean, in terms of the new opportunities, product opportunities. I mean, what is your take on this?
Yeah, I think AI obviously is here to stay. It's a natural
Mhm.
technology progression.
Mhm.
It's a huge inflection point. By that I mean, like how uh, in 2000, late 90s, 2000, internet became a big inflection point. A lot of companies started then. The social media was invented because of internet. Then when Apple launched iPhone, that was a big inflection point. Everything, a lot of things opened up with the mobile technologies, 5G. There have been so many inflection points in the last 25 years.
Mhm.
So AI is definitely a big inflection point. What NVIDIA was able to do with the chips, what OpenAI was able to do with the large language models, what Google and many others are doing with large language models. It's going to be a big factor in how people are going to build business models, because a lot of things will become more productive. So I don't want to predict the future 10, 15, 20 years down the line, because exactly we don't know how it's going to pan out. But we are already seeing a huge number of AI applications in our day-to-day lives.
Mhm.
Like, it could be driving, it could be using your maps, it could be Chat GPT, using AI for search, using AI in education. There is the small factors of artificial intelligence everywhere. In our own company, we are using AI to calculate prevailing wages on an ongoing basis. So there are small applications of AI everywhere. So that's going to be a huge factor in anybody's business model going forward. If you are a technology company, you are building a business model, you have to think about how you are going to leverage AI. Whether it could be in developing the code, it could be as simple as you leverage AI for programming, or you leverage AI with your data sets. So any business model will have to leverage AI. That's my take on AI. And it's already, as I said, it's already impacting our lives in more ways than we already know. Starting with now shopping, and I already gave a number of examples, but it's already
Mhm.
here.
Mm.
Whether AI will completely replace some of our jobs could be potentially, but there need to be a lot of progress that need to be made. I
Mhm.
think there is a technology change that has happened, but there has not been enough social change that has happened.
Mm.
So for a change to be truly impactful, like how internet, the technology started in late 90s, but the social change happened much later. So AI, the technology change has happened in a significant way, but the social change will catch up to the technology change, and in a few years you will see some of the jobs being replaced for sure. For example, if you have 10 developers today working on
Mhm.
something, maybe after 3 years you will only have 5 developers to do the same job, because for the rest of the things you're using AI. If you're having a fleet of 10 cars today, you may only need a fleet of 5 cars, if you're a taxi cab, I'm saying. Or if Amazon is having a 100 workforce delivery in a city, they may only need, they can use drones to deliver. They may only need 50 people. So I
Mhm.
think AI will start replacing jobs in small ways in the next couple of years, and then once people know how it exactly works, and the social change will become, the flywheel becomes start spinning faster and faster, and it will accelerate.
Mhm.
And teachers, I think, for example, math teachers, science teachers, I think there is a real risk for some of their jobs, because Khan Academy has released a number of things.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then OpenAI, using OpenAI, you can get math tutorials rather easily. So I think it's the job of teachers. Some jobs might be replaced, and the education might become more productive. So
Mhm.
uh, job of doctors can become more productive, because AI can help in analyzing some patterns, analyzing X-rays, analyzing DNAs, blood samples,
Mhm.
and even analyzing patterns. So there are a number of areas AI is already impacting, and jobs will be replaced. I don't think anybody should sugarcoat any of that, because social change is bound to catch up with technology change.
Yeah. So basically, society also will start adapting to the new reality,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So okay. So yeah. From an entrepreneur standpoint, right? I mean, you might be watching the the market, or uh, you might be seeing, you might be reading or observing the market as well. So can you suggest us the top three hot areas, right? I mean, according to
Mm.
you, one can explore now to build something new, right? I mean, do you have any uh, the top three hot areas in your mind?
That's a great question. I think everybody's top three areas will differ, so I
Mhm.
can only give mine. So
Yeah.
yeah, from where I sit and look at my worldview, is AI is definitely one of the top areas, but AI
Mm.
is an enabler and for your business model,
Mhm.
right? So uh, if you're starting something in India, think about consumer facing, because India has a huge, it has a huge population, 1.5 billion people, and every year the income is rising. Uh,
Hmm.
so if you think about consumer facing, I think you have a better chance of success. So, uh, you have to look at ideas that have some tailwinds, like, and there, and that also gel well with some inflection points, like,
Hmm.
what are all the things that are coming together. So if you think about AI, the consumer angle is coming together. And thirdly, I would say, yeah, think about specific industries, because you can think about too wide and general, but if you also think about specific industries, for example, financial services, there are unique areas in financial services where you can impact people's lives. One might think that there are already people who are working in financial service. There are a plethora of services,
Hmm.
but how Paytm, and the Google Pays quickly revolutionized the payment services. I think there is more to do in how payments are made and payments are received. But I think there is even more to do how loans are disbursed, and how people's credit is built. I think there is a huge number of ideas. So financial services would be one of my top areas, because there is still a big unorganized
Hmm.
sector in India. So if you think about it, how many taxpayers? About 7% of India's population. So there is still a big unorganized sector which needs that kind of financial services.
Hmm.
So that's definitely one of my top areas. I would say anything in construction and civil engineering. I think in India would be a great. I think generally anywhere in the world, if you go today,
Hmm.
that's one of the reason I picked construction as my industry when I wanted to switch. So
Hmm.
construction is bound for a big revolution for sure, because there is you need buildings with who emit less carbon outside. You need to constantly rejuvenate your infrastructure. You need more green infrastructure around the world for sure. So, and you need more innovation in workforce management in construction, because the older idea of construction workforce management is gone. So you have to work on some new ideas on construction workforce management. So more than the hot area, I think those are obviously the hot areas from where I see and I look at. But I think in general, you have to think about the inflection points and how things are combining and working together. And
Hmm.
so, and you should think about the tailwinds instead of thinking about, oh, this is an idea, that this is a big problem I want to solve. But if there is no tailwind, or there is no support coming around you, then your
Hmm.
chances of failure is more. But if there is a lot of things that are already happening that might support your idea, then your chances of success is higher.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a great uh, insights, basically, great three areas. And I definitely agree with the AI stuff, definitely. So which is it's a main, it is becoming a mainstream area now. I
Right.
mean, 2 years back it was just in nascent stage, and every now and then you see new AI apps which are actually making some revenue, good number of good
Yeah.
revenue it is making. Yeah. Thanks for that. So, I mean, if you have an idea, right? I mean, you want to start an idea, I mean, start a venture with your idea or something like that. So, how do you, organize or, arrange the funds or the funding, right? So
Yeah.
you, I mean, how usually, I keep reading, this company got this many funding, really, series one, series two, all those stuff. So as a person, as a layman, right, how should one approach this funding as a thing, right? Should I
Yeah.
have a plan first, or MVP of my product first or service, How should I approach VCs, and how, do you have any tips on that?
Oh, absolutely. Again, great question. Again, it's definitely handling uncertainty. Again, there,
Mhm.
raising funding is not a straight path.
Mhm.
I would say develop a lot of relationships with your potential investors.
Mm.
Attend networking events. Do the one-on-one of networking.
Mm.
Whether you are in idea stage, whether you are just interested in entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
start developing relationships with potential investors. Uh, and the more they see you putting the hustle into it, the more trust that they can put in you. So, so it is not just the perfect idea, not the perfect pitch, not it's not about that. It's about relationships. It's about showing that you're hustling to make your business model successful. Then that wins the game at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Obviously, your pitch deck is important, your idea is important, business model is important, but most importantly, I really like to give an example of what Warren Buffett said once, that, hey, if you're in a class of, let's say, 50 people and you are a student, and over a period of 3 to 4 months, you keep attending that class, and suddenly that three people are going to be the toppers in this class because they are always asking the right questions, they complete their homework on time, they're helping other students to become successful. And over a period of 3 to 4 months, there is a reputation that builds around these students, right? So as an investor, that's what they are looking at. They are always talking to, let's say, 50 entrepreneurs or 50 potential entrepreneurs. How do they select? Okay, they see that these three entrepreneurs are constantly putting the effort. They're building their business model. They're talking to their potential clients. They are building their product, MVP. So then the investor says, I'm going to bet on that guy because he is doing all the hustle or she's doing all the hustle.
Mm.
So yeah, all those things you mentioned are very important. There is an MVP, that's an important. But do you stop there if you don't get any funding?
Mm.
Obviously not. You keep improving your MVP. You keep pitching to potential customers. You keep pitching to potential partners. So that I would say that hustle should not stop, and that hustle it quickly becomes your reputation and says
Yeah.
that potential investors know that you're working for your idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you said hustle, right? I mean, there
Mhm.
are many, uh, the counter views for that hustle culture, right? I mean,
Mhm.
there are, health, work life balance, all those
Yeah.
stuff as well. So when you hustle, I mean, obviously, you need to keep your health sound. Without health, there won't be anything, right? So I just wanted to understand. See, Shah Rukh Khan, India. I mean, the biggest star, right? I mean, he said that if you want to be successful, all this, health, work-life balance, your family time, you forget all those things, right? I mean, he in his interview said. So, what is your opinion? I mean, how this work-life balance needs to be, taken care of, especially when you're into this startup. you know it requires a lot of energy and a lot of the time, to build that. I mean, it is not so easy.
Mhm.
You being a family man, you cannot take off during your Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, so how did you, I mean, what is your take on this?
Yeah, just like anything in life, you have to bring your partners, your family along,
Hmm.
and they should be part of your entrepreneurial journey. And I tend to agree with Shah Rukh Khan. And uh, you know, it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of hours and a lot of time,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of time away. Maybe something that you used to like.
Mm-hmm.
So this work-life balance is a very fine aspect, and I think I would like to offer a different perspective.
Mhm.
When you are truly enjoying the work that you are doing as an entrepreneur,
Mm.
that becomes your balance, that becomes your passion, that becomes your hobby. That it's not a 5 hour job that you it's not a 5 hour shift that you do.
Mm.
I have seen a number of interviews where entrepreneurs say that it's always constantly running at the back of my mind. I think it's Naval Ravikant who
Mm.
founded Angel List, and he huge respect. And he says, if I'm at the dinner table with my family, and all
Mhm.
of a sudden I stop eating and start thinking, and my wife suddenly says, honey, why are you not eating? What are you thinking? And I get up and say, oh, sorry, I was thinking about this problem that I was going to resolve.
Mhm.
So, and that's how typically a busy entrepreneurs would be. They would be
Mm.
24/7, something would be running on their minds.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, but there are different types of people. Some people are successful working only 7 hours a day, and they become very successful on Wall Street. They become successful investors. But my view is that once you sign up for the journey, it's a lot of hustle, a lot of hard work, because you are doing five different things every time, and there's constantly it's running at the back of your mind. But on that point, I do say that it's super important to take care of one's health, both physical, mental health, spiritual health.
Mm.
So it's important to take the time away to make sure that you exercise properly, you eat well, you sleep well. Uh, you know, but at the uh, you know it's a personal choice at the end of the day, how you balance all those things. But you cannot in my view, you cannot become successful without the hustle and without the hard work.
Yeah, yeah, those are great tips. So before we sign off, so I just wanted to ask you, the top two pieces of uh, advice for new generation entrepreneurs. I mean, if you have, what do you want to give? Any two?
Well, yeah, I'm not very sure if I'm the right person to give the top two tips, but I can only give what I have learned.
Yeah, based on
uh,
your
you know,
experience. I mean, what?
yeah, based
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
Yeah, based on my experience and obviously my age, I think I can. I've seen enough life to give a couple of things.
Mhm.
So one is hard work. It's once you sign up, hard work and hustle doesn't stop. That there are no shortcuts for successful. And the second and the I think very important thing I would say: surround yourself with people who push you to do well, who push you to do good, who push you to have fun, and from people who you can learn from. If you don't enjoy working with the people around you on a day-to-day basis, then it's a recipe for disaster. So I would say people and hard work are the my two pro tips in my life.
Yeah, yeah, that's bang on. Basically, I mean, even I have to agree with this. If you have a people who are supporting to you, on your venture, right? I mean, automatically you have, even though if you're not discussing your business problems or your any
Yeah.
issues of your business with them, their understanding makes you, gives that the comfort and support to go forward. Because if someone is unsupportive, or if you are in an unsupportive environment, then you'll have a lot of stress managing them as well as your business. And like you said, it is a recipe for disaster itself. So that's a great point there. And I think, I mean, whatever you have given, right? I mean, straight coming from your experience, it's marvelous. the gems of the insights. Basically, I would say. So thank you so much for spending this almost an hour with me, and I hope our viewers or our listeners will definitely benefit from these insights. And thank you so much, Girish, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you, GK. Glad to be here and always glad to talk to a friend. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Girish. Have a nice day.
Thank you, you as well.
Yeah.